Okay, we've begun, finally. Oh yeah, I'll have a sip of the tea. Yeah.
Did you look at your little message, Cha? You know,
Yeah.
what do you have?
Mine says, come together in keeping us all together.
Yeah,
What does she say?
Go in you, figure it out.
I love
Go
you
in
doing
you,
this.
figure it
Go in
out.
you. Go in you.
Yeah, that's what it says. Go in you, figure it out. I like it.
I like it. Oh, wait, I'll take this here maybe. Okay. Well, I'm going to start the episode like I do with all of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a whole box of different incense, but I got sent these the other day and they're really nice. So I thought it's a bit easier to bring with me. I got 3 different boxes.
They are pretty.
They're like handmade in Nepal.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's Aruba Red. So I thought you could pick whatever one you want to burn.
Well, my eyes went to the purple one, I must admit.
Purple
mostly.
one. Yeah.
Violet Electric.
Violet Electric. They're quite like mild smells as well.
Amazing.
So they're good. But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Hello.
Hello.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We've finally got this episode happening. So, I don't know, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit, maybe?
Yes, sure. My name is Edwige Cabanetos.
Edwige. In French?
Yes, I am. I am French, but I feel more British by the days. You know, I've been here so long. I've been here longer than I've lived in France, actually.
Wow.
Yes. How old are you now, Char?
Wait, can you guess?
You're in your 20s, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're a baby.
Yeah.
I should know your age.
I'm 20. I forget how old I am. I'm 26.
26, that's right. Yes. So I was in this country 3 years younger than you. I was 23 when I came to London.
Oh, wow.
It was 1998.
That's the year I was born.
So, yes. Wow. Okay. 1998. And I've been in this country 27 years. So you do the math.
But you would not look at it. It's crazy.
And Edwige is actually, there is a meaning behind it. I looked into it a while ago because people kept asking me. So I thought, I'm going to look into this.
Yeah.
And people in London asked me. They never asked me in France because in France it was popular in the 70s.
Oh.
And my mum really wanted this name. So
I've never heard it before.
it was the name of that famous French actress, Edwige Feuillère.
Ah.
And yeah, she just loved the name. So she gave it to me. And it goes in 2 parts, Ed and Vige.
Yeah.
And apparently it's to do with a warrior in battle.
Oh.
It's all about survival, I suppose.
Yeah. A warrior in battle. I love it. Well, I know you. I feel like we should say like how we know each other because I've met you through my little journey of trying to heal my gut, which has been an interesting journey, which I don't know. I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe.
At least, yeah, maybe
at
3.
Least. Actually.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way in which we've met, but I just found that when we, in between like appointments and stuff, we'd be talking and I was like, yeah, I feel like I resonate a lot with you and I feel like you have so much like wisdom and experience and a lot that I feel like needs to be shared because so many people don't know. Like, I mean, I want to go into this as we talk, but like...
You lead the way, Cha.
Yeah, with the gut and the link to your whole entire health, your mental health, everything. I think people are becoming more aware of the link, but it's I've been on this healing journey for a while now, and I'm really starting to realize, like, wow, it really is connected. Like, it really is. But before that, maybe I should ask, first of all, what you do is colonics, right?
Yes, at the moment, the main modality that I've been using to help people, from a diversity of issues is colonics. So it takes about 80% of my business.
Yeah.
But I have been moving into the mind a lot more because I realized colonic was so much deeper than just the physicality. And I've learned a lot from you guys, being on the couch, giving me your stories, and we can go into that a little bit more.
That's
if you
I'm
want.
really interested to know about that.
So, hypnotherapy is something that I've really tapped into the past year because I did a degree many years ago, but I was too hectic to actually bring it to life.
Yeah.
But don't forget, Cha, that all the modality that I offer are very much part of my healing journey.
Yeah.
So obviously, the hypnotherapy came towards, not the end of that journey because we never stop healing. There's always something coming at different times in your life. But I wasn't as comfortable with it as I am now. So I've been doing a lot more coaching. I would say the past year. I've gone back to it. So you asked me what I do for a living. I would say that I'm pretty much, a health and wellness coach and also conscious relationships mentor.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people throughout their journey talk to me about their deepest secrets. They open up. This is what I realized. I became the catalyst for change for people. They really want to talk about things that bothers them and how can we move forward without it keep polluting my guts, because everything goes through the guts. You're right. And if it doesn't work properly, then the mind gets polluted. You're not quite right up here and everything falls apart. So anyway, it was just to give you a little insight of what, because it's been moving a lot. I know you've known me as a colonic hydrotherapist, but there's a lot more to it. Yeah.
But I want to know to start with, what got you into that? Like, what put you on that path? Because it's such a niche thing.
The colonic.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people don't even know what they are. I only found out what they were because just intuitively, I was like, I need something to flush me out. Yeah. There's got to be something that gets rid of all everything inside me.
Yeah, that's interesting. You just said that because for me, I've got to think about it for a second because I've done so much, in terms of healing. So let's rewind to the time when I went through maybe the colonoscopy, because I was obviously in this country the first 2 years barely speaking English, so that was stressful in itself.
Yeah.
Escaping almost, I'd like to say, from a very chaotic, family dynamic, and trying to figure things out, which is interesting, the message I just read, because I have, all by myself and throughout healing and a lot of different modalities. And nutrition was very much the first thing I had to tap into because I used to eat diabolically. I mean, it was not good, but you don't know, you're young, you party, you want to have a good time. I was a smoker, used to drink, have a good time, and I was a bit of a party goer and enjoyed myself.
Everyone around you is doing that too, so that's what you do.
It's what you do in your 20s. But it was a lot to do with escapism as well, because I was traumatized ultimately. So you got to think about I'm setting the context here. So I'm leaving, where I come from to find a way in life, because I don't know why, I'm feeling a certain way, but I feel it.
Yeah.
But I'm masking it because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You try to navigate through life with what you got, the tools or no tools at all. Maybe you rely on your friends or, I didn't do therapies back then, I kind of, and you party, have a good time. It's good. It's escapism, right? But your body, says otherwise. So, of course, it took me a couple of years to realize that I really had a problem. And my whole childhood, I had constipation issue.
I relate so much to everything you said.
But I never knew any different because for me it was the normality. So I carried it through my childhood to teenagers, and I strain a lot. I have to use laxative to release because it was not nice, but I would do that because I thought it was that's the modalities you have out there at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go too much into details, and in France, it's very well known, enemas, especially with mums, with their children, they have issues and they try their best to help the baby or the child to release. And so that she would use enema on me, I mean, it would be quite drastic at times. Bless her heart, she might try, all sorts of lubrication to try to get the waste out. It was a lot. But anyway, moving forward, everything else on top of that, from the upbringing, the chaos, and you don't know until when you come out of the family dynamic and you figure things out. The partying, the new language, the settling down in the UK. And so, of course, I was with somebody at the time, I think I met somebody 6 months down the line, and we became an item for many, many years, and we lived together. And I would wake up during the night to try to pass my bowel, and it'd wake up and I'd been in the toilet maybe for half hour, 45 minutes. So it comes, so, you okay? What you doing? And so, well, I'm trying to, but it's not, it was really traumatic. And, it happened on a few occasions, and he told me at some point, look, you've got a problem. You need to deal with this. And so it took me that relationship to realize I had a problem.
Yeah.
Which is insane when you think about it, because I was not really conscious about what my body was going through. It was just purely physical, and it was an annoyance.
Yeah.
It was an annoyance.
It's like you hadn't really known any different.
Well, because at the age I was at, I didn't care.
Yeah.
And it was annoying. I'd go partying and I felt bloated, and oh gosh, I was not laxative, and then I feel better now. And it was just completely non-conscious type of behavior. And to the time when it became so extreme that I was in pain, I stopped eating. I lost so much weight. I looked ill, and people, because I started to work at the beginning, I came as an au pair, but I started to work, and people at work would say, Edwige, you look really, really ill. What's up with you? Even my skin complexion would turn green, it was like, that was not good.
Yeah.
You see yourself every day, don't you? So you don't see it. And I lost so much weight. I was kind of not underweight, but limits, it was not good. And I had to go through the whole colonoscopy, endoscopy, doctors seeing you, anyway, I was in the clear, but they still said that my bowel was kind of wiring up differently in different areas of my gut, because it was under stress basically, and I needed to go and deal with my food and try to deal with your stresses. So that was a recommendation basically, and you'll get better. And you're talking about 25 years ago now.
Yeah.
IBS was not really in the picture, but it was a form of IBS. So I researched it, and I understood that IBS was a very complex and vast subject. So I was alone there trying to make sense of it all. And nutrition was the thing that came to me first, because it mentioned the fact that, eating a balanced diet.
Yeah, that's where you always start with, isn't it?
I thought, I'll start with that. But so nutrition came into the picture. It's one of the books I read. I picked, Patrick Holford. I always remember it was like, bing, what I was reading, because I was very allopathic type of person. I was brought up in an environment where you'd reach out for pharmaceuticals, any, ailment you would have, headache, I don't know, skin issues, throat issues, lung infection, you'd reach out for pharmaceutical, that'd be, antibiotics, steroid, you name it. So of course I was just using that back then, but I had episodes of seeing the GPs very regularly, and so much so that at some point, it was recurring. I became very chronic in my issues. So I wanted to understand, because it was not good to be in that state. I didn't have any social life anymore. I had to say no to invites. I felt so bad. I couldn't be out. I felt, rubbish. So by reading books, it kind of taught me things, and I would read stuff about nutrition and then reflexology. I didn't even know that word. I said, what is this? Reflexology for stress management, get your body back into homeostasis, so you find your equilibrium. I was like, what is that? And I was very judgmental. I was very narrow-minded back then. I can remember. I was very judgmental. And colonic, I suppose, came into the picture when I've already tapped into my nutrition and I was feeling better and stronger. And I also tapped into the exercise. I was trying to get fitter. But the constipation was not quite going away. I was still struggling. So when I went for my first treatment, she... Literally, you don't do the closed system. You do the open system, Cha.
But so I've got an experience with one I'll tell you about, but you go first.
Well, so you know the deal with closed system. You're on a treatment couch, they insert the speculum, and off you go, all right? The water goes in, they do the abdominal massage, the water goes back out, if you're lucky, with some waste. Oh boy, 10 minutes in, Cha, I swear to God, I was screaming at the therapist. I was telling her to take this thing out of my butt. Not having it, I was so in pain.
Really?
I was so in pain and I wanted to cry. I was angry. There's a lot of emotion coming out of me. And she was amazing. And straight away, she took it out. I ran for the bathroom and I'm not going to say it, but I did it for England, basically. I mean, I've never had such a relief. And I just came out of the bathroom. I was like, oh, I felt so good.
It's the best feeling. I've always said, like,
yes,
taking a shit has got to be the best feeling.
No, but I mean, this was something else.
But yeah.
Like, I've never felt empty like that.
Yeah.
I've never felt that there was always something in the way, or like a pain or discomfort.
Like feeling stuck, feeling a blockage, feeling like heavy. Imagine just that being released. That has got to be one of the best feelings.
So that's not where it stops, because this was the physicality part of it. But actually, I was so happy. I was so relieved. That anger, gone.
Yeah.
And I felt so much compassion towards the therapist. And I was so grateful. I went to see her and I had to hug her. And I apologized. I said, I'm so sorry for screaming at you. I mean, I was like a monster. It was not me. That's what happened when your gut is in such a state. And it was not just the physicality. I got to realize later on in life. But then she said, look, it happens all the time. Don't feel bad about it. It's normal. We're touching the guts here. And clearly there is a lot going on. So it was not just about the food. So she sent me with a really sweet and easy trick. She talked about blueberries being very lubricative. So she said, add that to your porridge in the morning. Something very simple. And I was rubbish at hydration. So she reminded it to me. So just 2 super easy tips that I took on. And ever since, it changed my attitude. And then obviously I knew I had to come back, but I was so like, oh God, I hated the fact that, but I knew that helped me. I knew for sure it changed everything. And I had to be good and I had to address my issue, but not just physically, but mentally. And I knew there was a lot of emotions that were, because you feel it. What is with the colonic, you feel things. And I was crying, I was laughing, everything. I went through so many different emotions. And that's the beauty of colonic, indeed, but one doesn't realize until they go through the process. And boy, didn't I. It was quite something. But I see people all the time, they just come, walk in the park. It's not because they're not that traumatized, maybe. They're not. I was. And I see a lot of clients also who can be very traumatized. They don't even know they suppressed it so deep down, and they go through a really hard time when they're having a colonic. So I must explain to them that it's normal and it's okay, and we're going to sit with it. They cry with me. Some can be, they're nauseous. They might be sick. You go through so many emotions. And when they come out on the other end, the empowerment that comes with that, because they know what's just happened. I
remember saying to you, like, after the first or second one that I had, saying like, this feels like a psychedelic experience.
Right.
Because it's literally like you're purging it all out. Like,
so much come out of you. It's insane. I mean, so, this is where I come from. I come from that experience in my life when everything changed, Cha. Everything changed in that moment. I decided then, consciously, to do something that would radically keep my health on track, because there was absolutely no way I was going to carry on. In my 20s, I felt like a 60-year-old woman. I mean, I don't want to be judgmental. Maybe there's a lot of amazing 60, vibrant-year-old women. What I'm saying is back then, you feel 60 is very old for you, so, oh my God, I feel like an old woman. I was tired all the time. It was not normal.
Were you irritable as well?
I was irritable. I'd lock myself in the bathroom crying because, I was also taking pharmaceuticals. I was on OCP, oral contraceptive pill. I was going through very, very ups and down mental unstable behavior.
And it's like a cycle. They all like just encourage the other one to get.
Correct. There's a cascade of hormones happening, and that takes you with it. And so consciously I did, but I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. And obviously the journey I took from then on was indeed to study it, to go out there and understand, the guts, and I wanted to learn about nutrition, and reflexology came into the picture because I realized, okay, I am stressed out, aren't I? Because I'm reading so much and I'm trying to understand about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, these two different sides of your autonomic nervous system that we mostly stuck in one because of the modern lifestyle that we live in.
Yeah.
Even more so today with, technology, So I was in that state because of, I believe, my upbringing, and I think it can go for a lot of us. But you don't realize until you do, later on in life. So the journey took me on many different modalities of wanting to understand my stressors. And I remember from my nutrition years, I took a 3-year diploma, I remember, with the College of Naturopathic Medicine. And I done an assignment on irritable bowel syndrome. Obviously, for me, it was like, okay, that makes sense. Now I'm fixed, I'm better, and I'm on the road. And it did, come up with a lot of very interesting things. But mostly the one I connected with was the guts become very, very what's the word I should use for that? Disconnected from the nervous system. So it's the vagus nerve running from your brain to your guts, that helps you deal with your emotions. Yeah. It gets jeopardized when you are so tensed by the chaos on the outside that you can't quite breathe. You are under, so IBS can be very much triggered by a chaotic household. Yeah. That was pretty much given to me, the studies, the research that's been made on it. And the penny dropped, I thought, wow, yeah, I mean, that makes total sense without going too much into details. Yeah. But, the night terrors I used to have, the bedwetting, the whole, but you don't know until you know. And then you go, into different healing modality, whether they are psychotherapy or more of a spiritual journey. Again, that's many things I tapped into because I wanted to understand. Because there's a lot of anger that comes with also the discoveries. I feel like
there's two pathways. It's like you go down this journey, which I've gone down as well, of just like searching and being like, there must be something. And eventually it kind of does take you on a spiritual path because it's inevitable.
Correct.
But then the other path is like suppressing. And then that's like what everyone else seems to do. And then, but I would like compare myself to everyone else thinking, but how come they can eat all them things? Or how can they like do all these things? And I'm trying my hardest to do everything right. And I still am not but I think that is, like you said, when you're so disconnected.
Correct.
That even that doesn't bother you.
That's it.
Like, yeah.
You're not able to calm down, or like I kind of say very frequently, regulate your nervous system.
Yeah.
So, you can even go down the road of comparison. That's stressing you out.
Yeah.
You're going down, the self-esteem. I'm not good enough. Why she or he is able to, and not, all that, which is
it's being sensitive.
Right.
But it's like, anyone that's sensitive, I think, has got to go a little bit into the darkness, because you're gonna be sensitive to everything. So then you have to kind of like regulate yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm finally learning how to regulate myself within things and adapt to things, because before I couldn't, like, everything just like, and so it's like in every aspect of my life, physical, spiritual, like mental, it's all like, it's just letting go and like showing myself compassion.
Well done. Yeah,
Because,
I love that.
Yeah.
It's very much to do with the emotional intelligence that one person might have more than another. Not comparing here. We're all different, and that's okay. Some people, they don't feel as intensely as others. And actually, I came across, because I really encourage people to search for, what am I about? Who am I? That's the real question of life. And, to go out there and search for different people who, because, you look at different psychologists or psychiatrists or anybody who are in the field of mind, or, they sharing no more, no less than what they've gone through, and then they want to help others now to,
That's such a good point.
to get better. So of course they all have their take on it. They all have their way of healing. So,
you have to be your own psychologist, basically. You have to go out there.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get to. But the importance is, that you still need, almost, I'd like to say, the validation of your knowledge, your inner wisdom. And that I found a lot via books, via workshops I went to, and I encourage people to really do that, because even if you talk to your best friend or your mom or your dad, family members are tricky, because, the family unit can be, they keep you at a standard that might not help you to shine or go where you want to go. They might keep you to a place where they're comfortable with you to be there, because they have their own issues they haven't dealt with, maybe. So they become insecure around somebody who's wanting to evolve or become something else than that little bubble. I find families fascinating. So of course, all of that becomes something ill if you're not tapping into it. It becomes, like you said earlier, and I think about a person wanting to please, or don't want to, they want to do so much for somebody, and then they forget themselves in the process. What does that make you become? Maybe that make you become resentful, or maybe that make you become exhausted, or maybe that's not good. So when I come across interesting reading, it makes me think, and I want to search more. So recently, actually, to check myself out, I went on to, I found out about hypersensitivity. People who are hypersensitive, is that correct? Yeah. Because in French we say hypersensible. So hypersensitivity. Sometimes I get mixed up with my French. I do apologize. So correct me if you, you feel, no, that's not right. And this is, have you ever come across that? You understand about hypersensitivity?
Well, I definitely am.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know until very recently. Wow, yeah, that was me. But I'm better now, because I worked so much on my emotions, on my boundaries, on learning to say no without feeling guilty. Learning to, all these things that we don't get taught at school. So all this stresses out the system. All this puts you in a fight and flight.
Yes.
So the breathing, So
it's not just these other like modalities or just exercises that you see just getting like really westernized now, and everyone thinks like, oh, it's just yoga, or it's just, no, these are things that just bring you inside to yourself, to connect you back to like the actual power that you have to completely heal yourself. Like,
indeed,
you're a creator of all your cells, of everything that's going on. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know, I really resonate with everything that you've said so far.
I'm glad to hear it, Cha. But you know what we've talked about that before. My journey is my journey, and yours is very different. Even if there is a lot of things I say resonate to you, you should never believe what I say, because in the end, what I've done might not help you at all. But at least if I can inspire you to dig in, and things such as I mean, it's simplistic, it's very esoteric, but numerology, for instance, really helped me to understand about myself. Astrology really helped me, the 4 elements, anything to do, even Chinese astrology. I mean, as far as psychology goes, it's incredible, and also to get how people also, at the other end behave, and how you can maybe, I'm not saying you fit in, but you understand, and there's no point in you wanting to, I mean, it's not about changing people. That's another thing that I had a problem with. I wanted to fix. I wanted to fix. But, you learn eventually to kind of let it go, like you just said, and accept and be tolerant. But it's because of me, my old trauma, and not being able to figure it out. It was so many projection from, the father, the mother, because of their unresolved issues. And I'm not putting the blame on my mom and my dad. I love them very, very much, but it's complicated for a child to grasp, because you're a child. But saying that, and I'm sure a lot of people will resonate with what I'm saying, I'm about to say now, Cha, I've felt and I have known so much from a very young age, and yet I didn't dare going out there and doing something with it until I got really ill. And then only then, because you there's something not quite right about things happening around you, but you don't want to say anything because you're a child. It's hard to express things, so you keep it in, or you behave in such a way that's going to, get the attention of the mom or the dad, or you're going to become loud, or you're going to become, emotional blackmail.
Cope,
it's coping mechanisms, So I found it really amazing that I could, later on in life, it's a shame, I got to feel really horrible to deal, and that's why I always say to people, but it's never going to change, I don't think, Don't wait until you get to that place of unwellness. Just prevent it. That's why I believe in prevention. So I've been in preventative mode ever since my 20s now, ever since. So, don't wait until you get the bad diagnosis to do something about it. Just prevent, feel, listen to your body. If you keep having that pain, it's your body telling you there's something going on. Just do something now. Don't wait. But they might take the medication, suppress it. I'm feeling better now, and they think this is it. I've been there. I know all about pharmaceuticals. It was numbing the pain.
I feel like if there is ever someone or a product or a business company, whatever, telling you take this and this will fix this, they're lying, because it will never and that goes back to what you were saying about how everyone's unique, you've got to just go on your own journey and find what works for you, because it's not one size fits all. So maybe it will help you, or maybe it will help you temporarily, whatever it may be, but it's for you to go on that journey and find what works for you.
Indeed. And it's also about timing, and being in consciousness.
Yes.
It's a bitch. It's a real bitch, because when you start living in consciousness, when or what you're doing wrong. And you got to do something about it, and you feel, oh, crap. When you're not in consciousness, it doesn't matter. And I've been there. So I know the difference.
Yeah.
So I think also we know deep down what we need to do. We're not always ready to do it, because it's going to be painful.
Yeah.
It means we're not going to be having fun so much. We're going to have to say no to people, because we need to look after ourselves. We need to be in solitude. We need to regulate the nervous system, all that. And we feel, I'm going to miss out this and that, I think this, I can talk out of experience, because I wouldn't talk about it at all if I didn't know. I've been through it, especially when I was a party girl, you know, and I like a good drink and I like to explore. And so, of course, it was a form of escapism, but still, to say goodbye to that, you know, you go through a process of, oh my God, I'm so boring now.
Yeah.
But you're actually looking after yourself at such a level that you are present and you are able to enjoy life at
and the
such
only
a different
thing that
way.
would make you feel boring is the world, like society telling you that's boring. But actually, you're feeling the most present, the most alive, the most aware, the most conscious, the most connected, and light and happy that you've ever felt, probably. And that's like. It's I don't know, every time you're saying something I'm thinking of so many different like pathways we could take this, because I'm like, I know you could just take it so deep, like it's the system, like just like I don't know,
there's a lot of value in being in our solitude, Char, and you know that.
And I love it now,
but
I was scared of being alone when I was little. I hated being alone, like I always had to be with someone or doing something. Now I kind of hate being around people.
Well, this is you've got to find your balance. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. You're very young. Yeah. Don't kill it so soon. No, I'm 50. I can say that. You know, like, oh God, yeah, I can take it or leave it. You know, but you got to still, you know, just be selective. You know, and
that's what I'm definitely selective. That's
have
what
fun.
it is.
It's great to have fun.
I'm just very aware of like the energies I put myself around, because. Like before, when I'm less conscious, it would be like just being around whoever, and then you do come away feeling like maybe really drained,
depleted. Yeah, indeed. Well,
and not even being consciously aware that that's why.
But it's only because you're probably more of an empath than most people. So you've got to learn to protect yourself, preserve yourself. It's possible. It's doable.
Yeah.
You know. Because it's still nice to be around people. We're social creatures. We need that. But I understand what you're saying. I know exactly what you mean. And also, I mean, I love my bubble. You know, everywhere I'm going to live, I'm going to make my little temple. You know, my vibes, my passion. You know, it's not much. It's just an energy, you know, we're all made of energy. Anything you touch was energy first, you know, we became these things. But I think that's what made me feel the happiest, to go back to my energy, basically. So even if you're around people, you can really own your energy.
Yeah.
And you know, if you are an introvert, which is another subject I came across with in my journey. You know, I was such a clown for so long. The entertainment girl, you know, because it was my way of hiding behind. I thought I was an extrovert. And I took, you know, many different interesting tests. And I'd done this Carl Jung thing. And I found I was an introvert, you know, 10, 15 years later into my journey. So I compared the two. So you evolve as far as, you know, healing goes. And then don't even get me started on relationships, because you can go through so much healing with relationship. Yeah. But yes, I think solitude is amazing, but you can enjoy it so much that you disconnect.
And I think now I'm trying to use the outside world to actually help strengthen my inner, like, do you know what I mean?
Excellent.
Like I'm using it as like something to
nourishing,
to strengthen that.
Nourishing rather than destructive, because you make the call, you decide, you select.
But also to challenge myself in like social situations or because when I don't know, I mentioned it to you, but you know that I've suffered with the eating disorder. So I've resonated with a lot of what you were saying before. And I feel like when I was really underweight and I wasn't well, like I wasn't going out, wasn't doing anything at all. And I really lost I just lost everything. I lost my voice. I lost my confidence. I lost and I never was a massively confident person anyway. But I just, when it was about like, okay, just going back out into the world, like just doing normal things again, going to see a friend or a friend coming to mine or like whatever it was, like that was just a challenge in itself. But I feel like now I'm just, I had to use that. I had to push myself to go out to actually strengthen how I felt on the inside, if you know what I mean.
I do exactly see what you mean. And my question right now to you, if you prepare to answer to that question, of course, you don't have to, but is why did you lose your confidence? Do you know the root of it? How did that come about?
I just don't think I ever was confident. That's why I had the eating disorder.
Why?
Probably.
Why? Where does that come from? What's
I don't
the
think
root
I
of
had.
it?
I don't think either of my parents, as amazing as they were, they were. I don't think they were confident people. So I don't think I had like an archetype of like, this is confidence. They were much more like withdrawn and So I don't think I had like that example. But then as a little girl, I was very like
out there,
confident. Only around people I was comfortable with, only around family or close friends. But then as soon as I was in the outside world, I was just like so shook of everything.
Sweaty palm, palpitation in the heart.
Always like, but a lot of it was just like beliefs within myself. A lot of it's just the stories that were running the show that I wasn't even aware of, that like I just did not feel like I was enough. I'm still dealing with this now. I'm saying this like I'm in the middle of dealing with this now.
Yes,
like
I understand that.
And I'm just becoming more and more aware of everything that was at play when I was a little girl, because I was very, very shy. But like, I don't know, what was the point I was
the fact that you had that model from mom and dad as not showing that confidence element of a human facet, and that's easily done. See, that's why I love hypnotherapy so much, and I'm using it more and more so to deal with really anything, because you can rewire the brain. You know, you're such in a conscious state when you're a kid, and there's different phases you go through life when you are able to tap into the subconscious and make something out of it and change the whole dynamic that once was and is no longer serving you, kind of things. So it's a beautiful thing that I actually realized I used a lot throughout my healing journey, and so have you, for what I get, what you're saying, because it's almost like you forced yourself consciously of using tools or seeing, observing mom and dad. You worked it out. And as you said, you love your mom and dad. So do I, you know. It's not their fault. We can't, I mean, one could argue it could be their fault because they might have not been conscious parents, you know, and therefore they didn't do the necessary to work on that level and try harder to make it different, you know, than what they've been taught by their parents. Somebody's got to break the mold, you know. That's the complexity of family units. And basically you worked it out, and then you turn it around, and then you are in a better place now, and you will be in an even better place in 10 years time. But the consciousness really is there, and that's the beauty of it. But hypnosis is about that, is about reminding your brain that there are formulas you can change, you can twitch, and that's the beauty of life, of a life journey. I've done that from a very young age without realizing, but you know, I've been in situation where I saved myself as well. I knew I felt danger, you know, all that. It's a very intuitive inner wisdom, you know. We don't know back then when we're in it, but later on you realize, wow, that, you know. And then others, they might have not, and then boom, they got into that dangerous situation and something different happened. And you know, it's a sixth sense, maybe, almost. Maybe I've been on a survival mode most of my life because of my surrounding, and it's okay, you know. I'm actually grateful.
It's a gift, really.
In a way, it's a gift. But you know, the harder, more challenges you gain in life, and that's the reason why I became, you know, who I am today, to be able to help others, because I've gone through so much. So I understand, and I relate, and we relate to each other with my clients. I don't see myself as a therapist. I see myself as a mentor and a coach, because you know, we're all in the same boat. You know, there is no such a thing as, oh, I'm better than because I studied this and therefore no. Unless you apply it. I see so many people in professional areas that, go out there and preach something they can't even do themselves. It's very common, and you think, well, maybe, work a little bit more on yourself and, we can take you more seriously. I can't, but this is just me, I feel like there is value in somebody that walk the talk, because how can you help others when you can't help yourself?
It's so true.
And I've learned that with myself, and without being too hard on myself, I let my hair down now and again, but I have an 80-20 type of lifestyle. I always had since I had my issues with my health.
Yeah.
You need to have a time when, you socialize and you are with people who are going to eat differently than you, and you're going to be there and picking on, I don't do that because of, no, you just do it. You're fine, just for a few days. But if it's longer, if you go, I don't know, on a holiday with friends and it's going to be a few days, just make sure you get your stuff, and you don't want to hurt them or they're feeling, I shouldn't say that. I think people should take responsibilities for their own emotions. So if they take it wrong, if I'm about to say, look, I brought my own stuff, then it's their problem, not mine. We should never have to come out of our way of dealing with our life.
That's a massive thing that I've had to deal with.
Oh my God, I was such a people pleaser for so long. Not anymore. You'll see as you get older, you'll realize what a waste of time. But it's just... it's the life journey, I suppose. But I'm really glad to meet people at your age, Cha, who are more and more in consciousness and wanting to really, with the love and compassion, change the picture of health. They take it on, they take responsibility for their own, wrong choices, I'd like to say. They know what they're doing wrong because I see them all the time. And they come and they talk about it, and I'm there only to bounce back to what they're telling me, and they'll find the answer.
Because they always will. I've always been like, I'd prefer that the problem was me, because then I can change it.
Exactly.
If it's something outside of me, then I can't
control that.
It's the same in relationships. It's like, I'd rather I was the one in the wrong, because I'll admit it. I'm wrong. But if it's someone else, then I've got to deal with you being in denial or whatever. And I'm just like,
and it's also too much drama. You don't want to get sucked into other people's drama. It's too unhealthy.
I think it really is about knowing that it is all in our control.
Yes.
But people will make you think, people believe, it's the cards I've been dealt or whatever, and it's just like this.
The victim plays.
Yeah. So I'd rather it was in my control, which it is. If they go on that journey, but you go through the resistances, because sometimes you're like, well, I wouldn't make myself feel like this. Why am I woken up and my stomach's like this or whatever? But then I think it's about showing compassion always to myself in the moments, which I've been doing so much recently. I've been just really if ever my stomach's having a moment, I'm just I'm trying to deal with, before, I swear, if I was constipated, I would be horrible to be around. I wouldn't want to do anything. I would my whole nervous system would be so dysregulated. I would not be okay mentally, and it would just spiral. I would just spiral. And now I'm I had this moment a couple months ago, and I voice noted myself, because I was I want to listen to this if I ever get upset about the fact that
that's a good trick. Very good trick.
I want to listen to this if I ever get upset about my stomach, because I realize this is my biggest teacher. This is this is helping me. Even the just eating disorder. The reason I got into an eating disorder was because I became so controlled over what I was eating, because I was so scared of becoming constipated, and then I just fell into bad patterns. But even that, the growth that I received, the gifts that I received when I was then recovering from that, I would never take back the eating disorder. It was amazing.
You had to go through it.
I had to go through it, and it's the same with everything. All of the different resistances that I'll have on this path, no, it's never going to be easy.
That's
the
correct.
path to healing is not meant to be easy.
No. But when you come out on the other side, Cha, and God forbid I went through enough that it forced me to become calmer, basically. That's what I'm getting at. And if that's what it had to take, then I'm actually very happy with that conclusion because, you know, health is wealth. You know, in anything you do, you realize that you can't live a life in alignment or being happy or carrying that love and compassion unless you keep that in mind. So as I said early on, as soon as something, and without being obsessed, it's not an obsession, it's being in consciousness. If I don't do headaches, I just don't. You know, I'm well hydrated, I eat well, you know, I be careful with my lifestyle, but, you know, it happened in my life. And straight away, I'm like, okay, what's going on? I don't do headaches. No, I'm straight away. Or maybe something on my skin. I see what's going on. And then you go back the past few days and you realize, oh, right, that's what's happened. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, maybe I got dehydrated because I traveled or because I ate something too salty. I was on a social do, and then, you know, food, you're out of control and you go to a restaurant and stuff, and it sucked me out of my water, whatever, you know. And skin, same thing. It could be something I ate, it poured out of me, and, you know, I look back at my few days previously, and so it's been in consciousness and keep the control as much as you possibly can. And then anything else happens after that, and you still can't figure it out, then, you know, you get some help. And it happened to me, you know, it happened to me.
Because it's likely as well to then be like the childhood things, and it's emotional and it's stuff you're carrying.
You can get triggered sometimes, and, you know, the body's got a funny way of showing you things, and you can't always figure it out. And I do always go out and, you know, get some help. I don't, it's not because I'm myself, you know, in this field that I do it all on my own. It doesn't exist. Anybody who said that I'd find that very arrogant, because we all need help. We can't do it alone, you know. So I think, especially when it comes down to, you know, such a life-threatening disease, you know, people live it the way they live it, but I think really sharing is caring. So ultimately you care about yourself. And if you keep it to yourself, then there is things you're not resolved yet. You feel maybe embarrassed or guilty or ashamed. But if you talk it out, you know, you feel humility. You feel, well, you know what? Do you understand what I'm saying? I think it's very important to talk about it, go out there, reach out. And because I've been in that place. Again, that's why I'm talking about it. You know, you make it sound like all is okay. People see you differently. And in fact, it's a lie. And then you pretend. You know, it's not real. It's not authentic.
No.
But again, that's another way of, you know, looking at health. It's so vast. Health is so vast, you know. But the journey can be, you know, enlightening in the sense of every time you tap into an area and you feel the benefits from it, you know for next time what you're going to need to do. And it could be something different, but at least you got the tools, you're going to bring it, or you're going to bring something extra, or, you know, it's easy when you think about it, but people don't do it. They're just not conscious about it. For me, health is everything. I mean,
it's your body. It's literally your
there's nothing else. There's
life.
Nothing else. You can't go outside. It's impossible. You know, well, the only thing that I go outside with is nature. And, you know, I love relationships. I think they're very nourishing and they're very challenging. So they get you out of your comfort zone. They check you out. Where I'm at in my life right now. You know, am I still dealing with that trauma? Am I better at handling it? Because, you know, traumas are traumas. They're not going away. They'll be there until we die. But it's about controlling, just like the volume you put up and down, whoever you're going to come across in your life. Again, you can talk about, you know, certain relationships that should not take root because they are too destructive. Why would you stay in that? So there's always
But it shows you where you're at. Because it's like a reflection of you and how you feel about yourself.
But if you're both in consciousness, you can work through it. But if one is totally, whether, you know, we can go into the narcissistic, you know, side of it, or it's just not, you know, in consciousness, there's only one person in a relationship that's trying to get better. It's hard. You may also be single. You also work things through on your own and get better, and then attract the right person in your life, because I think it's all from within. You attract people where you're at in your life, aren't you? So I mean, that's what I believe.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, if you're still dealing with something, let's say an addiction, well, who do you think is going to come into your life? An addictive personality.
Exactly.
You know, and it doesn't have to be the same addiction. It can be a very different addiction.
It's so true.
And I'm an ex-codependent, so I know all about addiction, you know.
Well, the disorder taught me a lot about addiction. I don't know why. I just feel like I just feel like since I've dealt with that, I'm like, wow, I really see. Well, it's the darkness. It's like it's the ego you're dealing with. It's like that's what it is. Isn't it?
I'm glad you said that. I was waiting for you to say the word.
No, that is what it is. It's all
You're
ego.
amazing.
Like just the control you can let it have on you. And now I'm learning a lot about how the ego isn't a bad thing as well. Like I don't believe the ego is bad at all. We have it for a reason.
You need it.
It's literally what allows us to experience life. But like I just don't think
you still need to control it though. You still need to keep balance the ego. Otherwise,
the one thing I think I that was huge for me is that like you do not get better. You do not heal by fighting the ego. That only makes it stronger, because I genuinely. I was scared at how the physical control it had over me at certain points, where it was like, I have never had a problem with eating food. I love food. Like food was never an issue for me. I didn't have a weird relationship growing up with it. It was nothing like that. But when the disorder got so bad, there were times where I literally was like going to get food and my actual hand would
physically
not take it to my mouth. And that's so weird. I was like, how am I in this? And
that's
like
powerful stuff.
Yeah, it just felt like really, it was such a weird experience, but it made me think like, of course, like people that deal with addiction, when people are telling them just stop, or it's killing you, or what it's doing, it's like it's not that easy. You're fighting something so much deeper and darker inside of you. It's not about that.
And we don't always know what it is.
Yeah.
We've got to dig in, and it could take years.
You have to be conscious of it to actually heal it.
And face it, I didn't like my darknesses.
Yeah.
And I tried to suppress them.
Yeah.
Worst thing I could have ever done.
Yeah.
How can you? We all have darkness in us.
Yeah.
The real healing for me personally, I'm talking about myself, I'm not saying everybody should do that, is to face it and accept it and realize actually, I understand why I did that and the reason behind for not wanting to be in that place anymore. And I'm cool with it. And I can now shed off this, suit I wore for so long. Oh boy, it's going to be hard work because I'm going to become the next version, but I want to become that more authentic person because I feel in my bones it's going to make me a much, much happier person.
It's like whatever's giving you that resistance, that's where you actually do need to go.
Correct.
And face it.
Yes.
But sometimes, I don't know, I felt so unaware at some points. If I look back now, because I can say this all in hindsight, but I know if I was talking to myself when I was like in my teenage years,
the older you, the younger you,
and being really real with myself about how much value I put into like the way I looked and like things like that, because that is what kept the disorder alive.
Of course,
my values were so on like image and how I was perceived, and I would never have thought that, like, because I didn't think that I was like that.
But your ego was feeding on it.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean by learning to tame it.
Yeah.
Ego is very important for survival, but it can really spoil your heart.
It's such a survival thing because that's what it is. It's like, well, the only reason that I cared about the way I was being perceived was because I thought that that's how I would probably survive better and how I'd be, I don't know, loved better maybe. Maybe, like I think I'd seen, well, maybe because I was so shy around people. I don't know. It's stuff I'd internalized. It's insecurity that I'd internalized from my parents and from whatever. Then going out in school and whatever, and just not feeling like I was the pretty one or I was that, but seeing that the popular kids are the pretty ones and they were, or whatever it may be. And I just observed my whole life. I was always observing people and stuff. And so I think like I do it to like such a degree that in my head I felt like that's what was important, like the way I looked and the way people perceive me. But if I'm observing too much, then I'm not listening to within.
Yeah,
I think
you become too analytical, and that can be dangerous because we then forget to feel what the body is feeling.
Yeah,
and we don't address it, and we start judging ourselves. We're starting to become, resentful. So you made a really good point there, and that's the reason why I always ask somebody, how do you truly get to know yourself? And there are so many modalities out there. Yeah, you can go into therapy and you can dig in and, get the things dealt with. But ultimately, once we pass the mom and dad's, relationship, we need to really move on and own ourselves, the gift of growth. So who do I want to be? That's why I tapped into numerology. That's what I tap into astrology. I'm not talking about predictive astrology. I'm talking about the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite powerful and scientific in its own way.
Yeah.
So it's mind blowing. And I've even done stuff like Akashic reading. I've done so much. Oh my God, and I understood, okay, I can either take the victim place or I'm going to empower myself and become the version I want to become. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be that thing that people expect of me anymore. Mm-hmm. It's going to be me for me, being the real me. So I might not be liked. Mm-hmm. So I'll have to cope with that. I'll have to be able to, because if I do that, I fall back into a pattern I had before, which I was not happy with, because I wasn't me. I was just the person that was pleasing others and being what they wanted me to be. Do you
breaking cycles is not comfortable.
No, it's not. No, it's not, because you put yourself out there and there is a risk of being disliked, of course. But then how do you accept? And I actually got a book of that, which is funny. I saw it on my shelf early on today. I thought the title, The Courage of Being Disliked or something like that. I might find it later and show you, Shah. But I picked up that book one day because I wanted to have an understanding. But see, everything I went through, I would pick up a book because I'm like, I need to understand the psychology behind. I want to make sure I'm doing. We're all in the same boat. In fact, we're all going through the same patterns and figuring out where we're at, where we fit in, but without fitting in with other people's expectation. I want to fit in. Of course, I'm part of something. I'm not alone. Yeah. But I want to also surround myself with people who are at a very empowering standard. I don't want people to take me down. I don't want people to keep me in a place where they feel confident and secure, and then I'm there and I want to shine.
I want to feel good.
I want to feel good and I want to feel balanced, and that's what I want people around me to feel as well. This is what make me tick. Really make me tick. Sorry. It's something I've always had, but I was clumsy at doing it, and people felt, maybe pushed too much because I just want them to be happy. Does that make sense? And to do the work in order to get there. Mm-hmm. And it, like you said earlier on, it's not easy. Of course it's not easy, but I don't want them to give up either. I've gone through depression. I understand it's not a nice place to be, but you know what? Eventually I got out of it. Yeah. It was not easy. So when I see somebody in that state, I'm gentle, but I also want to say, look, get your act together. You are privileged to be alive here on this earth, and it doesn't last long. So just, tick-tock. Yeah. And it's a bit shocking and abrupt, but they get it. Yeah. And then maybe that little kick in the butt, they might not like me anymore after that, but I've done my job. Yeah. Because I've been there, I've wasted my time, and I didn't feel guilty about it. I felt, oh gosh, I wish I did that sooner. Well, guess what? I couldn't, because I was in the dark. Yeah. And it was not pleasant, but I had to be there. I had to sit there for a while to grow out of something that made me more authentic and in tune with myself. There's nothing better, Cha. Yeah. I'm so passionate about bringing people to a place of alignment.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's not easy because it means you might have people in your life that are not going to be part of your life anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to please them anymore. You're not going to be, the game of a narcissistic person. You're not going to be, there's so many areas of life that you realize, gosh, that's going to have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people don't do it because it's too, and talking about families.
Yeah.
There's how many people are so unhappy because they're caught in their mother's games or the brother and sister's emotional blackmail and it goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And how do you get out of it? It's hard. I don't want to hurt her feeling. I don't want to say, but what about you? You're important and life is ticking, know. And it's about starting little. I'm a bit abrupt because I'm a Taurian woman, passionate and very, fiery in her own way. But I also hold space for people to work it out.
Yeah.
I can't push them so much anymore. That's why I do what I do. They come to me when they need help. I don't have to go. I had a bad habit of wanting to help friends, family. And then, my partner at the time, he said, why don't you do it as a job? Because you basically...
just be doing it anyway.
And then that's what I did. And then people come and I love it. That's why I love my job. And it evolved. It went from one discipline to another because I evolved and they're there, they can use what they want to use. But ultimately it's coaching. Yeah. I didn't realize that until when I realized it.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I don't like status.
I think that's what it should be like because you don't need a label for exactly what your job is or whatever. It's just like, this is what I love to do. I'm just living life, doing what I love. And and I feel like as well, when you trust these things, when you just trust in everything, in yourself, of course, but also just that, when you just trust in like the things we've just been saying, like whatever you believe in, religious wise or spirituality wise or whatever, that the forces at play will all help you on that journey. So you will attract the right people. You will attract the right modalities and all the different things that are going to help aid you on that healing journey. I think that's the scary thing. Before you think of everything that's going to go wrong, or every reason why you can't. But as soon as you trust and you take the first step,
that's right.
It will be everything. Yeah.
Because you don't have the answers. I never knew how it was going to turn out when I done X, Y, Z. But I felt I needed to do it. I need to go there, whatever it is, whatever area, relationships, work, calls I made about my health, about my family, you know. I knew deep down I had to do what I had to do. And it is scary. And you go to scenario because the mind goes to places that don't even exist yet.
Yeah.
This is why I've got people coming to me with anxieties and I have to remind them, look, I mean, especially when it comes to colonic, it's interesting. They come and they're so nervous. They go anywhere but where they are right now with me. So they think everything's going to go wrong. Oh my God, what if this happened? It's like, that's just your mind doing tricks to you. Just be in the present, breathe in, trust the process and listen to my guidance. You'll be fine. This is what I do for a living. And it's hard to trust outside of yourself, but one could debate actually where all those bloody thoughts coming from. It's like, oh my God, it's amazing. The mind is amazing. We don't even really know much of it when you think about it. So we fight with ourselves all the time, and we need to calm ourselves down, and we need to trust ourselves. We need, like what you just said. It's a lot. So just that in its own. Imagine if you have to do somebody else.
It's a lot.
It's intense, right?
You just made me think as well. Like the only thing that's really been hard. Is the fear. Like
for sure.
That's the only hard part if you're really real with yourself. Like even if you're talking about like the things that are painful, like physically, like you could get through that physical pain. It's the fear of what the uncertainty of what that means. Like that's what's the hard part. So really, when I think about like recovery, for example, because that's like the best example I have with all of this, because it's taught me so much, is that like, if I'm really real, it was kind of easy. Like,
great.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do understand.
It wasn't.
But I understand.
But if I'm thinking about it, it's like, well, in every moment that like I did overcome something, I found it easy in that moment.
But then what comes next?
What do you mean?
Is the hardest part. Consistency is the hardest part.
I mean, it is hard. I think I'm maybe like forgetting like how hard it has been. But I think earlier, like on my way here, I had a thought of just like, I've been so much more adaptable with the foods that I've been eating, because I'm still really like I'm still trying to heal a lot of the rigidness, the rules that I had. I'm the best I've ever been with it. Like, I'm doing really well. But like, there's things that I'm doing now that like this time last year would have been a myth. And even this time, like 2 months ago, let's say, like I know like I would have found it hard, but I was thinking like, it's kind of easy though. Like, it is easy when you're ready for it. It's easy to make that next step. Yeah. But yeah, it's all timing. And the only thing that would have ever like felt hard was the fear of not being able to do it. But then you do it and you're like, it's fine.
It's happening. I'm doing it day by day by day. Yeah. And to be in consciousness with it. I think for me personally, that's how my journey has evolved mostly, to always go back to wherever I've been feeling. I mean, I'm not saying that every step of the way. I mean, I'm not that, detailed, but let's say I got upset about something, boom, I'm in consciousness. I trace it. So why am I upset? What's going on really? Yeah. What's the trigger? What triggered me to be upset? Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, because that is something you really have to train though.
Yeah. And it became like a second skin now. Yeah. It really, and even I see it with friends. It might be in the past I would have engaged in their drama and it end up being quite a heated conversation. Yeah. I don't feel the need to do that anymore. Yeah. It doesn't even, bothers me, because they are who they are and I am who I am. But at the end of the day, I'm so much emotionally secure now and at peace that, they can argue something that I disagree on, but I'm going to let them have that. I don't need to argue back. I just think that, that's how they feel. That's what they want to express. I let them say it. But before I wanted to make a point or, because some people want to argue and that's drama. Others, they want to have a debate and a conversation. So the vibes is different and I feel that now. And I feel like, before that's interesting. I get triggered. Yeah. I know why, because such and such. It could go back all the way to my, family dynamic. I recognize that. And then now I'm like, well, that was that, but I don't need to react now. It's cool. It's amazing. Like, I needed validation, I guess.
Validation. And also to prove yourself as well.
Correct, with validation, isn't it?
Oh, yes, same
all in all,
because I felt like I've gone on a journey with that as well. Like, just
do you feel
like
it now?
I'd say too much.
You
like, I'm saying so much. Like, and it's like, what am I trying to prove? I don't need to prove
you
that.
catch yourself. Yeah. Amazing, isn't it freeing?
Yeah, I just try not to do that at all now.
It's so liberating. And I encourage people all the time, when they tell me their stories and they get to the point where they're so stressed out because such friend or sister or mother, might get involved a little too much in their business. Yeah. And they just kind of find it hard to manage that. Sometimes it's better to let them say their things and nod and walk away than trying to make a point, because it's going to go back to a very unhealthy dynamic. And
it takes you out of alignment when you do that as well. Yeah. I've noticed, like, when you do these things that you're like, no, do you know what, I'm going to step away. It's quite fun. You feel like
it's quite fun.
I don't know. I just feel like you feel yourself more
empowered,
because you like, as if you were separate from yourself, but you feel yourself.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I understand.
I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but like it's your own little kind of game with yourself. You're strengthening that relationship with yourself.
You're self-therapy.
Do you know what? I'm not going to do this. Like, And you've just got you strengthen that relationship that you have with you that like, I don't know, before I just didn't always like honor that. And now I feel like I'm always like thinking, like it's just fun to like be with you.
It's
sometimes.
the self-therapy. I found that exactly what you're saying is what I've gone through. You check yourself out. You're ultimately listening to your own language and you're quite comfortable with it. And you don't need to go there and get involved in the drama anymore. But again, I think it's the life journey or the temperament. And again, I'm going back to astrology because I'm fascinated by that aspect of, you know, a human being. The element that falls into your chart, how much water, air, fire, earth you've got in your sign will be very decisive of what character you are around conflicts, or if you need that excitement. I know I've got friends, they need the excitement, they need the drama, they love the chaos, and that's okay. They're my friend. I love having diversity, but I know how to be around them, and I know certain things I would do differently than I would used to be doing in the past. So before I'd say yes. Now I say no, not this time. I'm tired, because they're fire sign. They can take on so much. I'm earthy. I need my peace. I need harmony. I work that out, and I'm okay. Because you talked about solitude earlier on, Char, and it made me realize I went through a time in my life where I was cutting myself off people because I was too overwhelmed by so much of their behavior that was not attuning to mine anymore. I said, well, I can't do that. I'm not a bloody Buddhist. I'm not going to end up like a monk on the top of a mountain. So I don't want to do that to myself. I want to live life. I want to be around people and feel alive, but in my own terms. And that's the problem I had. I didn't have healthy boundaries. And I would be resentful by going out, being very tired because my friends wanted me to be there, in fact, I wanted to say no. But I said, and now I can say no. I'm good with that. And they fight, oh, come on, no. And then, it's quite funny because I'm okay with it now. I don't feel bad. And they respect me more for it.
But just just dealing with different energies and different
energies,
it's like a lot sometimes. And I think I'm definitely I'm not in solitude mode anymore.
Good.
Not at all.
I'm glad to hear that.
But I'm like learning to set my boundaries a bit more, and like
it's important, very important,
just be able to, I don't know, be in my bubble and like be okay no matter where I am. That's something I still find hard, because I do get overwhelmed and overstimulated by a lot.
Hypersensitivity. I mean, have you ever done that test? Check it out. I'll send you a link. It's easily done.
16 personality one?
No. It's just hypersensitivity. You've got a set of questions and it tells you the level of it that you are. So, up to a scale of, is it 7 or 10? I've forgotten now. But anyway, I know mine is okay, is middle. So I'm not extremely hypersensitive. But when I put clients through the test, they see themselves, at the higher scale, and they've got that understanding. The penny drops. There's a lot of tests you can pass, for different things, and it teaches you about your personality. It resonates. There's loads out there. Even, when you talk about relationships, the style of attachment that you have and the reason behind, and it can evolve as you grow up. I mean, I was a very insecure attachment style because I was codependent, and I moved to a very secure type of attachment, and I saw it throughout my relationships in the past when I got to be with somebody very insecure, and oh wow, so you've changed and you feel like, okay, I'm in a different place now. So attachment style, I think her name is Helen Fisher. She's done amazing work in that domain, the different brain systems. And I'm fascinated by that, the fact I was addicted. I mean, there's a trilogy of books from Pia Melody as well. I talk a lot about that. The past 15 years, I've been doing that with my clients, giving them the title, the books, just tap into that because they're very amazing books. So it's about addicted to love, intimacy factor, and codependency issues. So there's so much in that is related around how you've been brought up, the projection of your parents, how you became something you're not. So you've got to find out later on in life. That's what we're all in that journey, ready to find out, figure it out. But this helped me a lot as well. That's an area I'm passionate about, relationship, the brain system, the dopamine. For some people, just it's who they are.
Yeah.
They're prone to addiction.
Yeah.
So it's about understanding that. And when I think I told you I've done that workshop 3 years ago now about intimacy. I don't know if I did tell you or not, but anyway, I brought in these kind of ideas within the workshop, and I have that questionnaire created based on Helen Fisher. So before we started the workshop, I get them to go through that questionnaire so they know if they are either estrogen dominant or serotonin, dopamine, or testosterone. And it's just so cool because they understood and they could relate, like the more domineering testosterone type of guy or more serotonin carrying, because you got basically personality or behavior that are attached to dominance in these hormones. If you're dopamine, led, you're going to be very much like you need stimulation. It doesn't matter in which area. It could be jumping off a plane or even in the music, you need to be out there doing your thing, like constantly the creativity, while others will be more serotonin. They'll keep them. Maybe I'd love to see where you're at, because
I would love to do
you make me think of a serotonin type of estrogen, maybe very caring, nurturing. You need to, take your time with things. You're more, an introvert.
Yeah.
So anyway, she worked it out in that way that drew me to her work and brought it into my workshop, because I thought there's so much value in it, and to help people coming together and understanding each other. I mean, you can't be with your own clone in a relationship. That I don't think it's healthy. You need to have somebody different so you can learn from each other. But as long as there is kindness, respect, and true love, not control, or something behind with an agenda, then you should be able to get through the hard conversation and the hardships together, and with the communication and all that. But some people have no idea. They're not trying to learn anything, and they're stuck in the loop, and then they keep breaking up, coming back together, breaking up. So stressful. It's bad for this nervous system. So I'll hook you up with that. Helen Fisher's work. That. It's very good. And Pia Melody's book. And these are two main areas. I didn't mention so much. So much I want to tell you about.
So much.
There's so many things we should, but
we can do more.
Because we're going to be, the time. We'll do another one.
We'll definitely do another one. But thank you so much.
My very pleasure.
Thank you. And
my very pleasure.
Do you have any socials or anything that you want?
As you know, I don't do social media.
Not yet.
Because it's one thing I've been resisting for a long time. I'm considering it, because obviously I want to evolve with where we're at with technology, but I will do it in my own pace and my own rhythm, and with what I can give, because social media in itself can be very deceitful, because you can lose control of it very rapidly. By the minute, at the beginning it must be fun. You put your own content and you manage, but then you become busier and busier. How are you going to control the machine? And then so you employ people to do it for you, and they start. I see it happening all the time, and that's scary, because you don't have time to double check everything. I know people who do that, and they don't even know that it's been written on social media on their behalf, but it's not, because they're not saying it. That the other people they employ do it. So I've got a problem with that. I think but it's not authentic anymore. It's not from you, the source. It's like now. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, this week
I'm going to this. One of my colleagues invited me over for this branding bootcamp. I'm like, okay, fine, I'm coming, but we'll see. Maybe it's the stepping stone to me getting.
With anything, you have to find your authenticity in it,
right?
So that I'm the same, because even with music, I've taken a massive step back from what I was doing, because I was driving myself to insanity. I just constantly felt like I wasn't doing enough, and nothing I was doing was even authentic then, because it was coming from the wrong, or at least I've always tried to prioritize authenticity, because that is what I want, but I was doing it in such a weird way. You can't force authenticity, in music. You can't force art. Art comes in its own pace. Whereas this like social media is just like put it out every single day, put some content out.
It's a machine and you get dragged into something that you lose complete control. And I'm saying I'm a control freak.
Yeah, same.
It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about then I health suffers. I see it all the time, Cha. People become very anxious with their social media because they have to provide, they have to keep, and it's not fun. I want to live a life where,
it's natural as well. I want people organic. To connect. Exactly. I want people to connect with that and feel like it is organic. And otherwise it does feel like there's just like,
it becomes productivity and then like a machine.
Yeah.
Though maybe that's why I got resistant to it, because I like my pace.
Yeah, but that makes perfect sense. Like I've always had such a weird view on it. Like I know I've grown up with it more than you have, so it's probably more like
embedded in you.
Yeah. But I do remember like when Instagram came around and like I was the last person to get it because all my friends had it. And I just remember like picking up on like this energy of like, it did feel like, the only way I can describe it is that it was like a brainwashing like that.
Yeah.
And it sounds dramatic, but it genuinely did feel like that, because it felt like there was just a weird different dynamic in the way people were acting that were on it. They suddenly cared about these things that didn't really exist. And it was like, this is such a weird new thing. Like,
right.
And I had this conscious thought. I can remember being like, if I get this, I know I'm consciously like going into that too.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was, but I was like, kind of, oh, fuck it, I'll just do it. And I just got Instagram, and I just remember like, it happened so subtly. You don't realize you're being brainwashed.
Once you're in it, that's it. You have to, keep,
It happens so unconsciously, but that is what happens with everything, with all the things in this westernized world.
But that's the message you and I are passing on now to the people who are going to connect to you, because I think it needs to be said, just take your own pace. Don't apply by what society tells you to. What? Because you feel you're going to be left behind? No, don't do this to yourself. Just keep creating. Do your thing, a day at a time, and give yourself that goal, that aim. It's not a race. I mean, unless you make it. I don't know.
I mean, if it was like you wouldn't get there by being the quickest one. You'd get there by listening to your pace.
I think so. Otherwise, you get ill.
Exactly. This
is where we're at now, Cha. And we want to recognize that when we've gone out of our alignment, then things gone south, right?
Yeah.
So to go back into ourselves and yes, it is hard sometimes. Sometimes it comes in from the outside telling me, oh gosh, you're going to, like what I just said, you're going to be left behind, it's moving fast. So I put myself in that place and no, let it go. It's cool. Yeah. You're doing what you're doing the best you can. Stop it. Like, and people are different. The whole point. People are different.
If something outside of you is making you feel like that, then that's even more reason to go inside and listen to your pace.
My compass is my compass, but it is hard to stay grounded. That's the word I wanted to bring. The groundedness. To stay grounded. And I mean, we'll have to do another podcast because there's so much to be said about nature, city's life. I get that. I get why people can get lost and restless and they want to be part of something but really it doesn't matter where you are. It really doesn't.
No.
And I've gone through the hate love with London. I've been here 27 years, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are. I really insist in that. Cities, countryside,
Yeah, it's so true, because so many people,
it's all in here.
I had the conversation with one of my friends. He's traveled loads all around the world, and he was recently in like Costa Rica and then in Mexico, and he was telling me like, it's beautiful, but like there's something about London that's actually quite grounding. Like, and he went there to go and like have this, and he felt like when he was there, actually he wasn't getting those experiences, and that was more of a reflection of where he was at internally. Right. But it really is like where like wherever you are, it doesn't matter. It is about your inside.
Yes.
And so many people are like, oh, I need to go on a holiday. I need to go.
But
and
that's
it's easier.
That's okay to go on holiday. You need to resource. You need to have a break. That's normal.
No, I think it's definitely like, I'm not saying just...
It's important to have a break.
Going away is a separate thing in the sense of like, I think you should be constantly exploring and moving about and going to different places. That's what you should be doing. But like, not just saying that the reason for the way you feel is completely your environment, because sometimes it's like your inner world.
Because people think there's something missing, and that's what they need to find out why, what's behind that. And I've been through it. I'm sure you've been through it.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of the other areas, you know, whether it's missing something, comparing yourself to somebody else, whatever. Because also social media shows a lot of fakeness. It's not the reality.
Exactly.
And it brings a lot of emotions to one psyche. And again, it's another subject. I find it fascinating, social media. I mean, I lied. I've been there before. When Facebook kicked off, Instagram, I was there because, you know, it came in. I was already, you know, in London. But I was maybe 5, 6, 7 years. I got the, you know, addiction, the likes I want to post, you know, and I'm like, this is not good. I've admitted it to myself. That's what happened with me. So I consciously, again, I'm like, oh my God, do I want? And I kept going, deactivating. I never deleted it truly, but it took me quite a while. And then to the day, I remember I was dating that person, and he told me, he said, hey, you know, you really don't quite delete it truly unless you go through that protocol. And then he showed me how to do it. So you delete it forever. That's why you wouldn't find me. Well, the only one I've got is Facebook. I've signed in a new one last year purely for my live blood analysis. You can't friend me. I don't have notification. I go there very rarely because we exchange pictures with my communities and we talk about, you know, cases. That's it. And I dreaded it. I didn't want to, but, you know, all my colleagues, you know, they were chatting and having conversation around cases, and I was left out because I wanted to learn more. And so, you know, the lady who created it, who I do workshop with, it's not a workshop. We go around the country and we get to do a live blood test. I think you've had that before in my newsletter. There's one coming up in August again. It'll be in London, actually. She created it. Said, Edwige, you need to sign into Facebook. That's it. So why can't you go to a different platform? And it made me anxious. I don't want to go back to Facebook. And I was so strong. I felt proud of myself because I went there. I got rid of all the things. You know, you got to go to parameters or the setting and tick everything that I don't want notification. I don't even have the app. I've got to physically sign into the internet to get to the Facebook.
Yeah.
So I make it very difficult.
Yeah.
So all that is unconsciousness.
Yeah.
And I only go there when I need to. There's a case to be discussed or photos I'm not quite sure. I want to ask my colleagues.
I love it. About having it as a tool.
And LinkedIn.
Rather than letting it consume you. You're controlling it. You're using it for what you need.
But I don't have any interaction. Even LinkedIn, when I created it, when it first came about, I just left it there. But I don't... And then Instagram, Twitter, I disconnected from all that many years ago. But I will have that, I think, at some point for something.
I think you're grounded enough to be able to deal with them things and use them for what they are. Like, I just think it's the younger people that aren't. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I want to have a podcast about that one day because I've got so much to say, and because we're different generation. Yeah, and I'd love to hear your thought on that. My niece, who is 22, was here very recently, and wow, I mean, it's an amazing area. I'm very intrigued. So, you know, I'd love that if ever one day you want to do something about that. Why not? It could be a subject because, you know, it's good to talk about it. Different age brackets and a different view. I mean, I've been there. I see people who are in it and it really, really jeopardizes their health. I'm telling you, Char, it's
definitely
big. It's really big.
Well, you're literally, it's programming. It's you're being programmed constant. That is literal brainwashing every single time you go on your phone and you open those apps.
It requires a lot of discipline. It's possible, But, you know, maybe...
But the people that are using, the majority aren't doing the work to then have that discipline.
Because then already they don't care. They're not there yet. They're, whatever. They think it's normal. Maybe it is normal. Maybe it's a new breed. I don't know. I'm trying to understand that world. It fascinates me.
I just think it's how conscious you are through all. I think you can do anything consciously.
Yeah.
And then it's okay in a way.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. See, well, we can't stop talking.
Well, thank you so much.
It was a real pleasure.
It was a pleasure. I love your place as well. Such vibes.
It's cozy. It's not
so
big,
cozy.
It's all you need.
I love
coziness. It. Yeah.
Thank you so much.